Hey everybody, today we're talking about Captain America: Brave New World. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're talking about Captain America 4: Brave New World, his new movie. Now, if you've not been paying attention, this is Sam Wilson, Captain America, who used to be the Falcon. If you don't know the story, watch Infinity War, Endgame, all the Captain America movies before this, and then watch The Falcon and Winter Soldier to see how Sam deals with the pressure of being Captain America. I thought it was a great show. It had its moments that were weaker than others, but all in all, together, I think it was one of the better of all of the Disney Plus shows, excluding, maybe WandaVision. These two are tip top for the Disney Plus shows for me so far. Captain America 4, though, is just okay. There's nothing terrible about it. It just feels very bleh. Not lazy. There was some thought put in here. It just feels like this is not the right story for Sam Wilson to me. I'm fine with wanting to bring in the Red Hulk. I'm fine with it being Harrison Ford playing Thunderbolt Ross because the William Hurt died. He was the original actor all the way through, I think, Civil War, right? Captain America 3. And he was also in The Incredible Hulk. This movie is kind of a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. It picks up on all the Samuel Stearns, the leader nonsense that was in that movie with Edward Norton. But this movie just feels wrong. Like, it doesn't feel like a Cap movie. It feels more like that sequel that we never got to Incredible Hulk because of all the distribution rights stuff. And because of that, Cap kind of feels out of place in his own movie. He's the leader of a small team, but he's like battling the idea of leading the Avengers. And it's like, are you a leader or not, dude? Like, you and Joaquin, your new Falcon, are going all the places. They have conversations about, if we restart the Avengers, then we'd have to work for him being the president, Thunderbolt Ross. Well, you're already in the military. You kind of still work for the same guy, right? Or the U.S. government. You're going where they want you to go. You're following their orders or going on their missions, things like that. So it's kind of weird to have these conversations, and it's like, do you guys know where you are? Like, what is going on? And all in all, I think the script, honestly, and the story is just too weak for Anthony Mackie to really do anything with. In other movies, he's been the comedic relief. He's been the lightness, this airiness. And when you have that type of character, that's kind of what audiences want to see. And that's what I want to see. And we had some of that in the Falcon and Winter Soldier storyline because Bucky was, in that show, Bucky was the hard, always serious guy. And Sam was he was grappling with his own things and he was becoming more serious as a character, but he was still kind of the comedic relief in terms of that duo. So to have it all the way through where you have Cap being, Sam being the hard-nosed Captain America figure and Joaquin, the new Falcon, being the comedic relief, is kind of a flip, right? And it's like, well, the last movie we saw him in, Sam was that figure. So why is Joaquin that? So it's a little like in the movies we haven't gotten that journey. So I think that's a little funky. But all in all, there's no connection here to Sam for it to really like be his villain. There's nothing grounded here. There's a whole lot done in Falcon and Winter Soldier with Sam in New Orleans and his home and the fishing boat and his family. And I would have just loved to have seen a little bit of that. Just not even a callback, but just like a setting like, hey, this is who Sam is, because that show did so much work to develop who Sam actually was outside of the Avengers, because we'd only seen him in the suit really up until then, right? Except for the beginning of Winter Soldier. So I wish we had seen something close to that in this movie, just a callback or more centered around Sam and his family, maybe instead of this big super spy type thing that they were trying to do. And I feel like it was all over the map. They was trying to be Winter Soldier because it had a secret base. It was trying to do the Arnim Zola thing with the secret base and Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader, who's played by Tim Blake Nelson. You also had this pull to Sam's past with Isaiah Bradley, who you wouldn't know who he is if you didn't watch The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So unlike Multiverse of Madness, which is the next movie to come after a Disney Plus show, which just ignored all of WandaVision, this one actually you probably did need to watch his Disney Plus show to pay attention and know what's going on. Although I think actually diving into Isaiah's story would have been a little bit better, like through line of Sam finding out what exactly did happen, maybe with some flashbacks and maybe, bring that to justice and then deal with the government agents that don't want it to and kick those people's ass. You know what I mean? That would have been maybe more effective than here's the President Hulk and deal with him. And I had a lot of questions too when Ross turned into Red Hulk, right? Like he's there, he's giving a speech, he turns into the Hulk, and immediately the Secret Service looks at him and goes, "My job is to protect the president, and I just saw the president turn into this red monster. I'm going to shoot that red monster, even though I know he's the president." Like, what the hell? Nobody even looked at each other sideways to be like, is our job still, is that the guy we're supposed to protect? Like, who are we protecting here? Ourselves, the people? Or are you still protecting him from Captain America? Like, there was no, dialogue about that at all. It was just like, we're protecting the president. Oh, the president's a monster now? We're going to kill that monster. I think that was really weird. We never met the vice president. For that vice president to say, I'm the president now, you could have my directive to kill that guy. You know what I mean? That was really confusing. What else? There was some other thing, too. Just how the vibranium weave of the suit was a little funky. Sam put on this new blue suit for no reason. He didn't like the white one, or the white one was torn, I guess was the reason. There was just so many threads that I would have loved to just had a line here or a line there instead of so much exposition about Camp Echo 1 or Samuel Stearns or the mind control and all this other stuff. I just would have liked more in-space explanation of what the heck is going on. The adamantium stuff seems very negligible, which I thought was weird. It played a role in the beginning of the film, but then once we got on the leader path with Samuel Stearns, and Red Hulk, nobody cared about the adamantium anymore. So why was it there at all? I don't know. They're just trying to give him an action sequence in the very beginning. Beats me. The action sequences, I think they were okay. I think the best one I liked is the dogfight with Sam and Falcon, with Cap and Falcon, in the Indian Ocean around the Celestial. Even though it's a fully CG sequence, I think I like that one the best. I don't know if I liked the fight with him and Red Hulk because there were no stakes. You knew he was gonna de-Hulk or whatever, Hulk down at some point. Really felt like Sam was in danger, even though he was completely outmatched. And the fight in the beginning of the movie where he is in Mexico just felt very slow. Very, very slow. I don't know, not tired, but just there wasn't enough pizzazz to it. It felt very normal, unlike a Captain America movie in fight scenes we've seen in the past. Now, I don't know if that's because Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum. It's probably because different fight coordinator for different movies, things like that. There wasn't the panache that the last 3 Captain America movies had. The first one, Joe Johnston directed, and then you had the Russo brothers doing Winter Soldier and Civil War, and Infinity War and Endgame to follow, right? With the Avengers films, they're coming back for Doomsday and Secret Wars. So we'll get something there, hopefully, but I think the story failed Anthony Mackie and Sam Wilson, and I think the action directors failed Anthony Mackie and Sam Wilson, and I think that's why ultimately this movie just doesn't work. It's just okay. This is not a movie I'm going to go rewatch. It's this movie I'm probably going to rewatch years from now, not necessarily because I want to. Maybe it's because I'm going to rewatch everything since Endgame to build up to Doomsday. That may be the thing, but it's not something it falls in the same space for me as Eternals does, in that there was not once where I was chuckling or I was like, oh, that's funny, or oh, I went by myself. There was no moment in here where I'm like, I got to show my wife Amanda this because she loves Captain America as Chris Evans, right? But even though she likes that actor, she would still like this movie because she likes the character. There wasn't anything here that I'm like, I got to show this to Amanda when it comes out on Disney Plus or anything like that. Unfortunately, there's just not that much worth talking about with the movie, and I think that's the movie's biggest flaw. You would think it would be Red Hulk, but ultimately, since he was in all the trailers, there was no surprise there. And since he wasn't really the main villain of the movie either, he just has one scene, one sequence, and it's over, it's done, and that's the end of that. So I think that's kind of where Captain America Brave New World falls for me. Everybody was just kind of doing their thing, but nobody was really striving for excellence except maybe for Anthony Mackie. But ultimately, he was let down by the script that he had to deliver, and I think that's no fault of his own. But Marvel, you got to get the scripts right. If there's one thing that I hope DC gets right, is that James Gunn was saying, we're not doing anything until the script is 100% right. And this Marvel machine doesn't do that, obviously, from the last couple of movies, and we'll see with the next couple that come out also. They're shooting to meet dates. They're shooting to write scripts to meet these shooting dates, and they're still writing them as they go along instead of having a real concept, a real story lined out and, like nailed down to the T before they start shooting. And I think that's the better way to make films. But if you're just Disney trying to make a buck, this is what we're going to get. And I guess you have to either be okay with it and go watch them or don't. It's up to you. So those are my thoughts on Captain America Brave New World. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. Was it better than I said? Was it worse than I said? Tell me why down below. Let's discuss it there. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, there's always time for comics. That's comic timing shit. I'll see you guys next time in the funny pages. That's my catchphrase.